Hi, today is the Pinkster Podcast, blah, blah, blah. I'm here with
Joey.
And my name is Nala, and Christian is in the background. Say hey.
Hello.
So today we're going to be talking about mental health and what we think about it on our situation. So first, I'm going to start with Joey.
So for me, mental health, I don't really experience it that much. To me, I don't think it affects me that much. But I also think, it's because there's like nothing has happened in something nothing has happened in my life. Like at a certain point, nothing has happened to me that made me feel whatever symptoms or episodes that happened to me that we're going to explain along the way. But to me, I feel like it has not really affected me that much. That's all I have to say. How about you?
Mental health can mean so many things to me. Trauma plays, trigger warning if you have trauma. Trauma plays a big part in mental health. For me, I have bits of trauma that affect me. So I have anxiety, especially social anxiety and anxiety in general. And I have depression, separation anxiety also. I have that, and it affects me in ways that nobody really knows because I really don't show it, or I really don't talk about it a lot because feelings and all of that is just not my gig. Christian, what about you?
Mine is horrible. I've been told I have this. I've been told I have this way of not showing my emotion. I'll just get quiet when I'm somewhere doing something, busy me, or when I'm at home. I have a tendency to go in my room, shut the door, and lock it in. Don't come out for a whole 2 or 3 days, which is sounds depressing, but it's not. I don't like the people that I live with, but I love them. Okay?
Wait, before we move on, is it just people that people told you, or have you been noticing that you do those things?
People have told me, and I've noticed it because I will spend a whole hour in my room and be like, where'd the time go?
So have you ever recorded yourself in those times? Like, have you ever what I'm trying to say is that have you while it's happening to you, how do you think about like third person, like a third person point of view? Third or second person point of view that has you done this, which is your family. We get to know that.
Yeah, my mom. She would ask me why am I in my room for so long, not knowing that I'm currently suffering from loss of something or just
feeling sad.
Yeah, just not okay.
I think that's kind
of. Before anything happened, this is just our perspectives, our point of views.
Before we say anything, anything.
So if you are currently feeling a different type of way, or if you're feeling more angry than sad, or you're feeling more numb in some type of way, that's okay. It's not okay to be depressed or have anything mental going on.
It's okay to be depressed.
But it's okay
to get help.
It's okay because you can get help eventually. I know I haven't got none.
That's it. Ooh, mental illness. Oh, you see? Have you ever seen?
Find an organization to where you can put your stress out at, but don't take it out on the people who's trying to help you per se. Always look for that source to where you can get out of that depressive anxiety space.
Yeah.
You know?
But I also like to get I like to get into this topic. Yeah, have you seen we all know there's memes out there, and I said this before in the self-recording, which I'm asking Christian to delete. But so what I said, I don't know. So if it gets released, if it's not, it's okay. So what I said in the self-recording was that in pop culture, I didn't say pop culture. I said there's memes out there that shows about having mental illness and depression. So there's this meme that goes, ooh, I have mental illness. or something like that. And then there's this kid when this old man is saying to this child, saying like, this is my gift, I'm gonna pass down to you, and the child says like, just like your mental illness, just like my mental illness. That's what the old man said, just like my mental illness. Turns out the mental illness was just his thing. What's that mental illness that's like dementia? That was his dementia. Oh my god, I'll just top it between that. But yeah, but I feel like there's like a bunch of memes out there. Like to other people, like it might seem funny, but I feel like it can get like hated due to people like taking it too seriously. Like today.
I mean, but that's just corporate America. You can't say something like, "Oh, that person suffering from depression," and think it's funny, because some people are actually suffering from depression, and we don't know how to come out and say, "Oh, this is
they need help, and this is how we supposed to help them."
That's why some people take it so serious to the point where it's like, why are you making jokes about why are you making jokes about that? And
or like actors like Robin Williams, R.I.P. Alright, so like so with a person like him, obviously he's a great actor. We all know that, but like. Even though on the camera he showed us a warm, friendly, gentle smile, but behind the camera he was going through depression, and that depression took his life. But what I'm trying to say is that people we know, like our friends, family, and other people who might seem happy,
check on them.
Yeah, they're like wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like wearing a mask. They're like, "Oh, I'm fine," but in reality, they're not.
That's why. Sorry. That's why we don't let you joke. That's why we don't let people joke about mental health, because we have loved ones, or we have people who have or having the symptoms to depression, anxiety, all of those things. That's why we don't push the issue of let's joke about this subject. That when it comes to mental health, I don't joke about that.
And another thing, if you like hear us, laugh or joke because and we say something that we really don't mean because we're friends, we all know how to play with each other.
Right.
And if we say something that you may particularly not like, it's not us coming for mental health or anything anybody got. It's just us joking and playing with each other.
And if we ever or have done something like that, please reach out to us, to our email.
Please do.
To our Instagram, to our YouTube. Just reach out and let us know that's what we done. And we can put out a public notice letting people know that's not what we meant by it. Because we have new viewers coming into play where...
we might say some out pocket, but not out
like
pocket
out of
stuff.
context, like dangerous out of context. Because so in person, some of y'all might not know us in person. So you might do because so obviously we like to joke around, but for some people like our listeners who don't know us personally, or who doesn't know us in generally, you might get offended on stuff that we say that might be out of context. But we're trying to say is that
we meet it in love.
Yeah.
We love y'all. All 400 of y'all. We love y'all very much. But we're also grateful for the 400 people who are, currently subscribed and following us, because
we appreciate you.
That means a whole lot to me.
And remember, you is kind, you is smart,
you
is important.
Okay, remember that. That is our new motto. And Christian over here in the background playing with a 4-wheeling.
Yeah.
Of a cart.
Next segment.
Next segment, we're gonna talk about more stuff, mental health, but in the next segment, we're gonna talk about National Women's History Month. And we might have interviews with the Gay Straight Alliance. We love them, and Bam Wow. So please stay tuned for that. Bye.
And we're back with Pinkston Said That. Take a listen.
Okay, so my second question, which is a follow-up to the first, did anyone ever come back to you and thank you for listening to them or offering them advice for their situation?
Yeah, I've really only a couple times, and that's not really why I want the kids to feel like they can come and talk to me. I'm not looking for any sort of gratitude or anything like that. I have received a couple texts that say, you know, I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping, and stuff like that. So there's some graciousness that is coming out of that interaction, but more so, I think both to that person as well as to myself, them becoming healthier, them becoming more, having better, I guess, having more good days than bad days, is kind of like thank you enough. I think for that person, you can tell because the thank yous kind of come from the jokes that they say to me, right? The playfulness, the good grades that they're getting in their report cards. And I think they know that as well as I know that it's not about a thank you. That doesn't really affect anything at the end of the day. Those are just a couple words, but having a better life on the outcome of it, because of going through some mental health sources is really the best thank you can get for the patient as well as the person that's helping. So.
Can you tell someone has bad mental health by their physical health?
So yes, you can. The mental so we are built multifaceted. So we have a mental component, we have a physical component. The two interact and influence the other. So if your physical health is not doing well, that will affect your mental health. If your mental health is not doing well, you will find that your physical health will suffer as well. So the two are related. So there's a definite connection between the two.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things I think is really, really important in terms of your physical health leading to your mental health is your sleep and your REM cycle and stuff like that. And so a couple statistics I brought up, just, you know, quick research on that is about, you know, people with depression, about 75% show symptoms of insomnia, right? So if you're not getting your, you know, people always say 8 hours of sleep, but, you know, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, if you're not getting that full reset for your body, muscularly, anything like just mentally in that aspect too, you got to shut off your brain every once in a while, right? That's why we have those REM cycles to again, reset our bodies, to heal our bodies, to do all that sort of stuff. And so if 75 of the 300 million people that have depression aren't getting any sleep, that's going to start to affect them, right? And so you might be able to tell that they might have some sort of mental health stuff going on because maybe they have bags under their eyes, maybe they're sleeping a lot more, they're constantly yawning. So you could see stuff like that, you know. And to kind of piggyback off that, it does create this negative feedback loop where the less sleep you constantly get, the worse performance that your brain is going to have. So again, knowing that it's a mental health problem, being in your brain, being mental, you keep lacking your body of depriving it of sleep, then it's just going to kind of create more interference with the mental health problems that are kind of occurring with that person, you know. And people with anxiety constantly stay up real late, right? They're hyper aroused. Their brain's just constantly thinking about stuff, thinking about that test that they got tomorrow, thinking about their boyfriend and girlfriend problems, thinking about, you know, I'm about to graduate in a couple of days, stuff like that. And so again, you can see people start to change. You can tell when somebody's really sleepy. You can tell when somebody's not going to the gym, not doing the stuff they need to do to take care of their body, with stuff like that too. So, yeah.
I would also add one other thing too. I know we don't talk about it a lot, but our diet is also important. If you notice, when you don't eat, you become more agitated or easily agitated.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
So let's say you go all day without eating and someone says something to you. If you are normally fed, like you eat breakfast and lunch, you'll find that some things will just roll off your shoulder and you won't really get agitated that much. But if you are going on 7-8 hours without eating or drinking,
Like fasting, but or not like fasting.
Well, you just not eating. Just generally not eating breakfast, not eating lunch, not drinking anything. You'll notice that you are very quick to jump to anger to solve stuff. And so you also are very hard to communicate with. So you're not as open as you would be if you were fed for that day. So that's another aspect that a lot of people ignore. I notice here at the high school, a lot of people don't generally eat while they're at school. They don't drink anything either. That makes it very hard to study and focus in class when your stomach is growling and you're thinking about when you're going to get home to eat dinner. So that's another aspect I think that's really important that influences our mental health.
Yeah, and then with the whole diet thing too, it also depends on what you put into your body. I know here, I mean,
Quality.
oh my goodness, all I see is hot Cheetos, Takis, Funyuns. Why are y'all eating Funyuns? I mean, come on, like that's just gross. Yeah. Oh, the Funyuns. I mean, I get it, but like, ain't nobody want to be next to you. Okay.
I don't eat those. I eat like kennel cut chips.
Yeah, so chips, really just chips in general, right? But that's just I feel like the majority of people's diet is based out of carbs.
Yeah.
You know, and carbs are a good source of energy, don't get me wrong. It is a fast-acting source of food, but it's not sustainable, right? And that's why one bag isn't enough, and then 2 bags isn't enough. And I've seen some of y'all throw down family-sized bags, and I'm like, y'all are crazy. Y'all just eating a whole bag of hot Cheetos. But it's really about balancing that diet also, right? Getting some proteins, getting some fats in there. Not all fat is bad for you. And so maintaining that level of satiation in your body with a little bit of a protein drink, a little bit of, a waffle or an eggs or something like that in the morning is enough to keep your body running effectively. You got to think of your body as a machine. And if you're not putting good source of fuel into that, it's not going to output efficiently, right? So I'd say cut back on the hot Cheetos. I know it's going to be a heartbreaker for some of y'all, but cut it back.
That's an emotional roller coaster when you eat Cheetos because it's basically sugar.
Yeah, honestly. That's all it is, yeah. Big crash after that.
Hey. Oh,
Go ahead.
Hey.
So can you prevent mental health problems or?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. I don't want to lie to you or give anybody this false reality that you can prevent something with mental health.
It's like hard to prevent it.
Yeah, because I feel like really a lot of mental health comes from your life experiences. And so it's hard to prevent life experience. Like you're not ever really, unless you're really, really lucky, you're not ever really going to be able to avoid a breakup, right? You're not going to be able to avoid that best friend that you had since kindergarten and then they kind of separate your way come sophomore year. You're not going to be able to avoid certain things that are just facts in life, like the loss of a loved one, right? Like that's just going to happen. So there's not a lot of prevention, in my opinion. It's kind of rolling with the punches and being aware of your mental health, being aware that things are you're always going to have a bump in the road, no matter if it's middle school, high school, going to college, your career, your family, your relationships, there's going to be bumps in the road. And so learning how to cope is really the best option for it. So not so much prevention, but ability to cope is a huge, huge thing that can help not eliminate mental health, but control it a little bit more,
I'd like to ask a fun question. So I know we're on the topic of teen health. I know like they're the victims of like mental health, but you know how they they have therapists and people like telling their problems, but how do they feel? Like
the therapists.
Yeah, the therapists, the friends, the family, the counselors. How do they feel about their friend, family, client health? Does it affect them?
Yeah. I mean, I would have to assume, just based off of human interactions, that you're gonna feel bad for somebody that's going through something, right? When a friend tells you something that they're going through a breakup, you kind of feel empathy towards them. So I wouldn't say it develops any sort of depression or anything like that when you're talking about something sad with people. I think you just get this sense of empathy for them. And also, like I said, I mean, therapists essentially are trained for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they've had multiple years of experience. So they know that, not to say that you don't matter, that you don't care, but they have experience being able to maybe listen to your problems, work with you, do all this, and then maybe leave it at their job. Because again, essentially that is their job. Their job is to help you, but they also have a life on their outside too. And I know many, many therapists talk to other therapists, right? So it's always that, chicken or the egg type thing, but who does the therapist go see about their therapist? And it's kind of an ongoing joke or something like that. But there is a time and place where they're going to leave their feelings about the situation at hand at their job. So that's kind of what I'd feel like. As far as family or friends, I mean, again, feeling empathy, I don't think it really develops anything, but it's just feeling that emotion for them. So,
yeah, I'd like to add, it's kind of this thought that there are some people that don't have anything going on. They don't have any mental health challenges. And the truth is, everybody has mental health challenges. The difference is some people are better able to handle it and cope with it better than others. There are some mental challenges that are more visible than others. So it's easier to see in some people than others. But every single person in the world, I have not come across one person that does not have mental health challenges. It's just how they deal with the challenges when they're presented with them. So just like therapists have challenges too. It's just that they may be, like Coach said, they've been going to school for many years to deal with it. So it's kind of like if you were training in football for many years, you might end up being a better player than someone that just started yesterday. So I don't think that it's not that they don't have challenges too. It's just that maybe they have better training in dealing with them. But every single person has challenges. It's just how you deal with it.
Okay, we'll do 2 more questions and then we'll let our wonderful guests go. So one of my questions is, what if the support doesn't help? Like if we go to get help, if we go to ask people for these questions and we go to ask these people for answers and how we not want to, what I'm trying to say is, if that doesn't help, what do I do then?
Like they're being gaslighting or not gaslighting?
Like, just like if I ask you for help and you give me the advice that I need, but it still doesn't help me. What do I do?
So, I'll kind of take this with that. I will say that there's a bunch of different methods to how to cope, how to handle, how to treat mental health. And not every therapist that you go to is going to do the exact same things. Some might really think that talking things out and going back to your childhood is really important. Some people might think that doing activities while you're in the therapy session they have different modalities is basically what I'm getting at. The context of that would also be like, I would equate this to like personal training or weightlifting or something like that, right? There's 1,000 different barbell variations that you can do for, let's just say, your chest, right? You could do incline, you could do bench, you could do decline, you could do cable flies, you could do dumbbell flies, you could do a whole bunch of other stuff, right? There is no one modality that is the best, right? Obviously, there are certain things that work really well, like bench press is going to be a great thing to work for you on your chest, but you might find a trainer that really, really likes to use resistance bands. They don't like dumbbells, but you still get the same activation in your muscles. And so you got to think about your brain, and mental health is kind of the exact same thing. Is you're working out your brain, you're working out different ways of modalities to find the best way to attack that mental health problem. So I would say if you go somewhere and you talk to somebody or you're doing something and it just isn't for you, go find another one. I've had friends and colleagues, even at this school, that I've talked to in the past where it took 3 different therapists to go to until they found their one. And they go, man, I connect with this person. I get them. That first one, they were good, but they just didn't do what I needed them to do. So don't give up because the first option didn't work. Okay. Don't give up because the first exercise that you did doesn't do anything for you. You might find a new hobby. Maybe you really enjoy hiking. Maybe you really enjoy skateboarding and rollerblading. I don't know, something kind of odd like that. So just finding different stuff, I think would be really helpful. So,
I actually want to second that. Not everyone will give you an answer that is the right answer for you. Sometimes you may have to go to a second therapist or a third therapist in order to get the answer that you're looking for. That's the first part. The second part is not every answer is going to be wrapped up in a nice bow. When you lose someone, for example, it's going to hurt. Regardless of who you talk to, no one you talk to is going to eliminate that pain. Now, they may tell you how to deal with it, but it's still going to hurt. So sometimes when people are asking for help or seeking help, they expect things to the answer to come into a nice little wrapped up present. And life just does not always work out that way. Sometimes the solution that you get may not be the one you're expecting, but it might be the solution that you need. So just because it doesn't come in a nice little package doesn't mean that it's not the right solution. We have to expect that life is messy sometimes. The solutions that we get are going to be messy sometimes, but that's okay.
So my question is, can school play a big part in your mental health? It's for both of you guys?
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is y'all's job, essentially. Just as much as it is Nurse's Eye's job, like, he has his patients, I have my classes, y'all have y'all's classes. You have y'all's friends, we have our coworkers, right? Y'all obviously see y'all's friends way more than I see my coworkers and stuff like that because I'm in class. But yeah, of 100%, your school, this is your life. This is where you're making friends. This is where you're having heartbreaks. I see, I've got a couple athletes that are going through that right now, right? Is learning how to talk to people, learning how to communicate, learning how to study, how to plan out your future, right? Some of y'all might be coming up, juniors and seniors. We got to figure out where you're going to go to college. What are you going to do, right? So there's just a lot of pressure that has on your future, your social life, your romantic life. And then you got to go home. And then you got to do all that other sort of stuff at home with your parents too. So you got to understand that school is going to affect your mental health. And again, it goes back to the whole, do you know how to cope with it? Do you know how to manage your mental health? Do you know how to accommodate your mental health with your physical health, your diet, your just everyday, day-to-day routine? So, I can't promise you that high school is going to be great and wonderful, and you might have some difficulties here and there, but that's where, like this, I think this is really beautiful, having a whole podcast group with people that, like, some of y'all I've never even seen in the school. So that's really cool to, one, meet y'all. Two, I see how y'all are working together to create this podcast that maybe this is something you want to do in the future. And so you're socializing, you're learning how to talk to each other. You're also learning how to, like, work together for, like, a job, essentially, right? Y'all are treating this like a job. So socialization is really, really huge. But again, if school is kind of bumming you out and things are getting a little bit too much pressure, too much sadness, too much anxiety about certain things, all the stuff we talked about, really, really check all that stuff out. Okay, there's a lot of help out there, and most of it is free. Don't feel like you have to have a job, that you have to ask your parents for this money, that you have to bring a credit card with you to school. A lot of stuff is just available for you, and I feel like not enough people realize the student resources that are available for y'all. So start looking into that. Start looking at some of the flyers that are on the wall. Take your head out of the TikToks while you're walking to class and look at some of the flyers. There's 1,000 flyers out here, Okay, start looking at them. So that's kind of my thought on that.
Hey, this is the end question so this is the last question I'll say. Do you think that mental health is a never-ending battle? Or I know you could say like it could end, but do you think it could be a never-ending battle that you could get it back again?
Yeah. So, well, let me go back to the last question. So y'all are in high school for 4 years. There is an incredible amount of growth that y'all are gonna go through from 9th to 12th grade, and it's like y'all. It's like being a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, and because of all that growth that's taking place, that puts you under a lot of stress, okay? And that also stresses your mental health. So it's expected that y'all are gonna go through some stuff in high school. He did, I did, y'all are going to. That's part of the process. So now going back to your question, everybody is going through challenges. It doesn't matter whether you are 14 or you're 50. Everybody is going to have mental health challenges. And it doesn't stop just because you reach 20 or you reach 30 or 40 or 50. It's people that are 80 that are still dealing with mental health problems, challenges. Okay, I won't say problems, they're challenges because they can be overcome. Okay, so that's never going away. It's just that you become better able of dealing with those challenges when you're presented with them. So they're not going to go away. That's not going to happen. It's just you become accustomed to the pressure.
Yeah,
I'll put it like that. You become accustomed to carrying the load. Yeah.
100%. I'll just back that up and kind of close it out with that. I mean, that speaks volumes. I mean, you're going to have, whether you're 18 years old and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do in life and what college you're going to go to, and then you graduate and you're 24, 23, and you go, well, what job now? Oh, well, that's more stress. Okay, well, I finally got the job. Oh my God, I want a wife and kids, or I want a husband and kids, and I want this. So now you got relationship problems, and then you got retirement problems. You're like, oh my God, I thought I was going to be set. I've been working all this time. I got to go get another job. Just there's a bunch of different life things that are going to happen. Your car breaks down. Oh my God, I'm just waiting for my 2007 Chevy to break down one day. I'm dreading. That's a dread, bro. I don't know what's going to happen. I got to go find another car. So you got to think about these things, right?
Enough problems for one.
I know, but that's every day. That's everybody's life. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's not inevitable, and mental health problems or challenges, is not going to. They're not curable. That's a kind of a misconception too. Is there's no antidepressants don't cure depression. They just help with symptoms, right? That person still has depression. Yeah, it just helps with pain management or mental management and stuff like that. So. Again, that's really the best word. It's not reversible, it's not curable, but it's manageable. And that's really the best thing. So management.
Alrighty. I want to thank our wonderful guests for taking their time out of their busy schedules and days to come to talk to the podcast club here at Pinkston. Here at Pinkston, we want you to remember. Pinkston
just said that. Hi, welcome to Pieces Said That Podcast Club. Today you're here with me, Joey. I will be the only one to be here, being recording today. So we're going to be talking about mental health and Women's History Month for a bit. So mental health is something that every human being has. Sometimes it can be one when you face it at a certain point, or you're just born with it. What I mean is that you have a mental illness. And it was it's not something to be taken a joke as, even though there's a bunch of people making it funny, like you've seen comedians like Chris Rock or people on TikTok. And sometimes it can be a meme too. I don't know, I don't know what example to show, but I think y'all there's some memes out there that
makes it like a mental health disorder, or I don't know how to explain it, but y'all know what I mean. So when it comes to mental health or mental health, you either feel you're sad, mad, scared, or you just feel empty. What I mean by that, you feel like you don't really matter, which you do matter. You was kind, you was smart, you was important. And I know that may sound cringy coming out of me because I'm like the cringiest person on the podcast. But yeah, you really do matter. We want you to matter. So when it comes to mental, so sometimes you can get disorders, mental disorders like anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, dementia, schizophrenia, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is PTSD. And both of them are really different. So I'm gonna tell you a few of them, give a description of them. So first one we have is anxiety disorder. Well, I can't really explain it, but there's treatments for it. Sorry if I say that, I will explain the definitions of them. I'm sorry, apologies for that. But I will tell you how to treat them. Well, tell you how to treat it. So, anxiety disorder. The treatment includes counseling and medication, including antidepressants. Okay. Bipolar disorder. The treatment is usually a lifetime and often involves a combination of medication and psychotherapy. Dementia. Medication and therapy may help manage symptoms. Some causes are reversible. Schizophrenia. Treatments are usually a lifetime and often involves a combined medication of psychotherapy and coordinating special care services. Okay. PTSD. Now, PTSD is really different because it mostly involves a person or you going through a certain event in your life. Like if you've been in a car crash or you've seen something happen that scarred you for life, or scarred you, or you've been traumatized. That's mainly comes from PTSD, which is, as I say it again, that it's something that caused in your life. Now, there are treatments from it, but sometimes you might see it or witness it happening to you or happening to someone else that caused you to have PTSD. It feels like deja vu, like you're reliving the event that happened to you again. Yeah. For treatments for PTSD, post-traumatic stress or disorder, the treatment includes different types of trauma-focused psychotherapy, as well as medication to manage the symptoms. Okay, so now how people describe these illnesses as describe these disorders as a mental illness, and that's okay, and that's really okay. So to me, if I ever I don't know how to explain it. I've seen movies of people having a mental illness. Like, have you seen the movie Brain on Fire? Yeah, I'm saying that right. Brain on Fire. It's a really good movie. It's about this girl who's going through she's going through an event, an episode of a mental episode, and she's going through a mental episode, and it's talking about her brain's on fire. It's a really good movie. I like it. Then you have artists, you have singers and rappers who have these illnesses or at least sing about them. You have singers from Radiohead, Nirvana, mainly Nirvana. You have Logic. That's all I can say, and it's all I can say for that, because mainly mental health is something that you wouldn't expect for someone like you to have, but you can have it. It comes at you any time and anywhere. You just don't expect it, but it's not your fault. But it's the best way is that you have people, you have someone, you have your family, your friends, to help you along the way with it. Yeah, so I know what's going on. So, moving on, we're gonna talk about Women's History Month. So Women's History Month. We love women, but we love the women. Sorry if that sounds weird and cringy.
Yo, welcome back to Pinkston Said That. Today I'm with a special guest.
Richard Shaholsky, Mr. Shaholsky.
And this is your mascot, NHR, Nala Reed, with
Joey, the vice president.
and Eric Hickson, your
Tech manager.
management. I'm sorry, I lost the words. Anyways, today we're gonna ask Mr. S some questions. So, number one, what is your favorite color?
I'm rather partial to green,
Period.
but I also enjoy purple and yellow.
Okay, Barney colors.
Okay.
Definitely.
Not Barney colors.
Then Joey will ask the second question.
Hey, so what did you do? How are you doing today?
How am I doing today? I'm doing all right. I'm very busy and a little rushed and anxious because I have some things I have to get done before class, but I'm doing all right.
That's good. Hey, so we're gonna get down to the interview questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Hey, so what is GSA? Can you give a brief description?
Sure. So GSA, it used to stand for Gay Straight Alliance. Now it stands for Gender and Sexualities Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a club devoted to creating safe spaces in schools for people of the LGBTQ plus community, as well as allies in the straight community that support them. And essentially, it's like a mini social justice group for students who are interested in civil rights around that topic.
Okay, the next question is, what does the GDA do? GSA.
No worries. GSA, essentially what they do is they come together, they talk about the problems that are being presented in the school as well as in the community, and they come up with action plans on how to confront individuals who might be expressing homophobia, as well as safety plans if that's necessary, like if someone's getting picked on, a way for them to be safe in the hallways, as well as discuss ways to make our community more open and safe place for people of all backgrounds and diversities.
Love that.
Has that happened lately?
Unfortunately, we have had incidences on our campus in which individuals have come to our school, some from the trans community, and they have felt attacked. So they ended up leaving. Some actually receiving violence in the form of getting beaten up for using a restroom. And so they left because they didn't feel safe here. And we do have several students on our campus who identify as LGBTQ or queer who don't necessarily feel safe being who they are. And at Pinkston, we want to make sure everybody feels safe and welcome here.
Mm-hmm. Of course. But I feel like that's it is troubling because there are people here who are offensive. Even if it is a joke, it should be like should be taken seriously that it is offensive.
Yeah. I think one of the main goals for the adults on our campus is to help y'all understand how the real world works. And just because we find something funny doesn't necessarily mean it's something that everybody in the world agrees with.
This one?
Yeah.
What motivate you to start GSA, and has it shown success?
I was motivated to start GSA because 2 years ago we had a teacher who actually started the program here.
Miss Plantowski. I miss her.
Miss Plantowski, yes, she was here. She saw a need and she approached me because I'm an out person in the community. I'm very proud of who I am and I don't hide it. And she needed somebody like that to be around the students that were here at the time. Most of those students have moved on from our campus or they've graduated, but I still keep an open invitation to the GSA. So what motivates me is I want people to have the opportunity to feel safe and accepted while they're in high school because it can affect you later in life. Unfortunately, we haven't had many people show up.
Paris to the gays.
So how long you been doing GSA since last year or
When we moved into the new building, so about 2.5 years, something like that.
2.5.
Yeah.
So, what are things can people learn from GSA?
What can people learn from GSA? So people can learn how to confront their biases, They can learn how to talk about issues like homophobia. They can also learn to talk about issues about hate and confrontation. They can learn how to defend themselves and defend other people with their words, obviously. You can also learn how to create spaces that feel safer and more inclusive.
Okay.
How do other people might view the alliance? So you have teachers here who might be who secretly be against it, and like some of the coaches. I'm not naming names, but we all know who we're talking.
I think that you bring up a good point. I think there's definitely some fear that surrounds it, and that fear comes in two forms. Individuals who might necessarily not agree with a lifestyle choice, quote unquote, because that's just how they were raised. But we live in 2024. That's no longer an excuse. And the fear from the other side of it might be people thinking or assuming others are going to associate them with a community that they don't necessarily ascribe to. But it's important to understand that GSA is about people coming together to make safe places exist regardless of their sexual identity.
I'd like to ask something. So we know this is pop culture, right? So we don't have people who are fighting for justice for it. Do you also think that people who also fight justice might take it a little far, like take it too far? Like, okay, so there's some things where a person is trying, like there's a video of this old person who asked this girl, what are your pronouns, like in the nicest way that he could be possible. And these two I don't want these two people. I don't want to misgender them.
Sure.
So, and they took quite offense at that. They thought like he was trying to be funny, like. But you.
I understand. So I think that it's a sensitive topic, and the only way to help people become more comfortable with it is to have those conversations. And GSA allows an open space of non-judgment for people to come and ask questions. And I think for straight people, a lot of the time they're afraid to approach certain topics because they don't want to come off as offensive. And GSA is definitely a place where you learn how to have those conversations, and you learn how to understand when somebody reacts in a certain way, if it was you or if it was them.
I have a question. It's about this, but it's kind of off. How do you feel when people take it literally too far? I've seen videos where people saying they're coming at their kids' necks, trying to change the whole mindset about gay people and stuff like that. How do you feel with stuff like that?
I think a lot of the political rhetoric that comes from the conservative side is meant to distract people from what's actually going on in the world. The conservatives in our country have a rich history of using other people as scapegoats to make the poor turn against each other, to make people who need to social climb or to ascend in class forget about the fact that they are not making enough money because the government isn't allowing them access. So things like education, access to jobs, access to education, access to healthcare, all of those things get tabled, and conservatives tend to point to small communities. For instance, LGBTQ people only make up 14% of the global population. That means we are like a drop of water in a bucket.
Yeah.
But we are often targeted as a scapegoat by conservative Republicans because we're an easy target. And lots of people have certain views that they were raised with that make them want something to hate. Same thing has been experienced by marginalized communities such as Black individuals, women, Hispanic, Latin individuals, Asian individuals. It's different and the same.
This is also another off-topic question. How do you feel when people bring the Bible into it and say scriptures that?
Sure. Well, I'm actually a Methodist, which is a branch of Christianity, and I'm a very religious and spiritual person. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily devout or zealous, but I do love Jesus. And I do love God, and I participate in my church community quite well. And I will say this, a lot of the Old Testament is mistranslated into English, one. So that's a problem.
Yeah.
The original Greek doesn't actually refer to homosexual men. It refers to pedophiles. Completely different. And the New Testament says we're all one in Christ Jesus.
Amen.
So when I'm confronted by Christians who want to use the Old Testament, I remind them about that scripture.
Yeah, but I like to
Father
go off
God.
analysis too. But like, so when I heard the phrase that God loves all, when I heard the phrase that God loves all, I instantly mean that He loves everybody.
Yeah.
But I know, even though that some of it's out of context, you see it that's out of context.
Yeah.
Why do He loves everyone? What is it? The phrase that God loves everyone. I instantly think He loves everyone, and I still believe in that. But people might say different ways due to there's different words.
And if you have any opinions or questions, concerns, and if it's derogatory, do not comment. If you don't like this episode, it's all right. We have plenty more. If you don't like it, just skip. But this is for people who are scared to come out or who are just curious about the community, because it happens.
Or people who are forward thinking and want to make the world a safer and kinder place.
Exactly. And I think that's all the questions we have for Mr. S.
Well, I still got a few more,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, so I like to. So you know how every time we have Pride Month, we have the Pride Month parade.
Yeah, sure. In June.
Okay, do you think sometimes the people might take it inappropriately, like
The community?
yeah.
You're talking about how LGBTQ people might express themselves at the Pride events.
Yeah.
Is it family friendly?
Yes.
Well, to that I will say, it is a celebration of individuality, and some people choose to align themselves with more family values. Some people choose to align themselves with more personal values. That's their personal choice. I will say that the city of Dallas holds a parade, and it is very family friendly. And it is held in a sanctioned event, and it lasts for a very specific amount of time, and you have to pay money and follow a lot of rules to do it. And then the community itself has its own version, which is
less
family friendly. And
Okay.
it's held in the city, and we have a protest license, because essentially our marches are actually just protests. We're watching down the street, we're using our American rights to show who we are.
And we're celebrating who we are, as you should.
As well, I could go into detail. So we all know there's been movies, and there are movies when I feel like that some companies, again, what you're saying about how to use gay as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they use that too much into companies and movies? What I'm trying to say is that do you need to do it a little bit too much or the right amount? Because I'm not even between the middle of it.
Are you asking about is there enough representation?
Yeah.
Or are you saying, are they using representation in a demonizing way? Which way are you asking?
The first one.
The first one?
Not the second one.
I think that mainstream media has a taste of what the reality is, but also a lot of what we see is still being written from a straight person's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
There are not a lesbian or gay or bi or transgender writers that are in Hollywood, so we don't actually get a full picture of what our life is like.
Okay.
This is the last question. What does the GSA hope to achieve?
The GSA hopes to work in cooperation with the rest of the Pinkston team to create a safer place where individuals feel like they can express who they are, come to school, get an education, and hopefully walk out of this place loving themselves more and loving others more.
So, do you think mental health plays? Well, do you think LG? I do not want to pronounce that wrong. I do it every time. But do you think the
BTQ.
All right, y'all can say it.
Got it. LGBTQ.
Do you think that plays a big part on mental health, especially in high school?
There's lots of counseling theories. I'm currently in school to become a therapist. There's lots of counseling theories that talk about love and belonging. And individuals who are part of the LGBTQ community in Texas and in the South tend to present lots of symptoms of, one, religious trauma, but two, a sense of abandonment or a sense of loss of belonging. And that affects you well into your adulthood. It comes with a lot of risks of suicide, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depression, anxiety, and all of those things can manifest pretty early on in your life, around 10, 11, 12, when you start to realize you might be different, and depending on the community you're in, whether or not you should hide that difference.
Totally feel like that sometimes.
And then with your, I did want to, I don't know if they touched on it, but your job plays a role in the...
In GSA?
Yeah.
No one has to join choir if they want to be in GSA, if that's what you're trying to say. I will say I wish more choir members were a part of GSA because they're very outspoken and very loving and kind people.
Hey, anytime you need me, I'm here.
But you're right. But no, that you do not have to join choir to be part of GSA. It's completely different. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, this is the end. If you have any questions, comments,
exclusive.
For real. If you have any concerns, comments, or whatever not,
you can reach GSA on their Instagram platforms. I absolutely forgot what it's called, but charge that to my 3,000 things going on at once. Can you provide your...
We actually don't have social media.
Okay.
Yeah, social media isn't exactly a safe place for an organization like this. And it's also against the policy for the program. But if you have any questions, you can come and find me in my office at 127. And if you'd like to come to our meetings are held the last Tuesday of every month. So that'll be next week on Tuesday. Bring a friend.
Christine, you want to go?
Are we all going?
Oh, period. We peace out.
Solidarity.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, the whole podcast club is going the members that are here when we do the Tuesday
podcast.
Podcast. The Tuesday podcast will be joining you joining you in the GSA meeting. I cannot talk for nothing.
He cannot.
Yeah, we will talk about our experience and promote it.
Okay, sounds great.
But this is the end of Pinkston Said That. Tune in for more episodes. And yeah, good night, y'all.
Here is the President's Hour. What may not be a President's Hour, it may be a few minutes, but I am so glad to give y'all this segment. So we're gonna jump a little bit of what Joey is talking about, but until then, Joey, talk before I start stuttering.
So for this reason, we're talking about Women's History Month. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of background about Women's History Month. So the origins of Women's History Month it dates back to 1978 in Santa Rosa, California, when the Education Task Force of Sonoma County Commission of the Status of Women planned a Women's History Week, celebrating during the week of March 8th to compress say that word in the International Women's Day. Alright, so now you might be asking, why do we celebrate Women's History Month? So we celebrate Women's History Month for the following reasons: and that reasons are to celebrate the incredible success and achievements of strong women all over the globe. So to honor and pay tribute to the females who dedicated their lives in ensuring that women were granted equal rights to men. So we are, so of course we celebrate it. We are thankful for that, right?
Right.
But I also feel like that some people we all heard what feminism is, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't have a problem with it. We don't have a problem with it. It's just that there's some people, some women out there who take it like too much with it. Like sometimes go too far. There's been tons of videos on TikTok and Instagram about how they filter and so. But here's a scenario. So if I'm helping you with something and you might get offended, if I say you might get offended because I'm mansplaining it.
Ooh, let me touch on that.
Yeah, let's touch on that. Okay.
I watched a series of how they went through life. The first episode was basically how she didn't want to go to her quinceañera. I may be pronouncing it wrong, but I'm so sorry. You get the point. For my people who celebrate quinceañeras or things of that nature, we often decided as that's how you become a woman, or that's how they described it in the show. Some of us may know this show and that show as One Day at a Time.
Oh, I don't like that show. Well, I don't like this. There's just one character I don't like, and it's the sister. Like, okay, so why do you don't
like the sister? She's standing up for everything America has a problem with.
Excuse you.
she does too much. And she does too much and for her relationship, she can do better than that girl she's dating. She can do way better than that girl she's dating. That's all I have to say. Other than that, I think she's pointing out the right things to say, but she's doing way too much.
Sometimes I'm gonna touch on the partners, and then I'm gonna touch on the she's doing too much. Okay, sometimes with the partners, you find somebody who you actually connect with. For instance, mine may get on my nerves all the time, but
oh God, here we go with Chris.
I know that he means well. The character itself in the show, the girlfriend, I can agree with you. I don't like the way that they approached her character, but they could have inched it off a little bit more as a good character. And then her family wise, it was just so crazy. And then she's doing too much. Feminism and sexism and mansplaining, all what they went through the show, is crazy in America. America has a problem with celebrating our women who fight for any and everything that we put our name on.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying with this, but there are some people out there who take it way too far. I agree. Like Candace Owens, I was like, you know who she is, right? Or like what she does sometimes.
I've heard of Candace Owens.
Okay, so she takes dames, she looks at them and reads them, and she takes it and she thinks it's something that could, let's say I saw this and I did. And I think that this person is mansplaining, being sexist, but it could be like a simple video of something, and she can find ways to say, oh, this is offensive.
See, sometimes you got to look at. I'm gonna just use her as an example. Sometimes you got to look at Candace Owens and her career, and what she's been doing for years. If that brings her fame, she's going to keep doing it. If we want to talk about. If we want to make an example of people, and people please don't come for me, but I'm going to just say it. If we want to talk about Candace Owens, look at...
Wendy Williams.
Let's look at Wendy Williams, but at the same time, let's look at Jess Hilarious. Some of us may not know who she is, but she kind of does the same thing. She makes comedy out of what she does, but sometimes we may look at it as doing too much, but that's how America can get the viewpoint of how we want to address this issue. For me, I can tell that when they're doing too much is when they sit up here and they'll go on and on and on about the situation, but when the situation has been dropped. America may not fix our Constitution. Let me just go ahead and say that.
Shit.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother hour conversation that we're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation about, because America's Constitution is. Okay.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. That's how we can describe it. But they don't celebrate our women enough. So we created Women's History Month to do that in a type of way. That's how I feel about that. That's how I'm addressing it. But others may feel that it should be addressed a different way, like our viewers on the Pizza at that podcast. Shout out to y'all.
Of course. Like we talk about the negative side of feminism, but feminism has its positive side and negative side. I still think that's good that there are people out there to say I feel offended by this, and so on. But and I understand that there's different points of view how you're seeing it, but it's good. But say it in a positive way, like the nicest way. Don't be disrespectful and call it out for no reason. What I'm trying to say is that try not to get so offensive what people are doing. Right? I don't know how to say it. I don't want to come out as sexist or say oh I'm a boy, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm probably right because I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you want to explain to me, it's tell us. If you think I'm mansplaining it, please tell us. And we can do.
You know how to reach us.
Yeah, you know how to reach us. We can do better. Tell us what we can do better.
I'm gonna touch on something with that, and then we're gonna get back into the mental health part. let's talk about. You say they say we're doing too much when you say that they say that women do too much when explaining.
Well, no. I know. I only say that. So like they took feminism way too far. So like it could be the symbols like it's good to have feminism, but like you can do it way too much.
Well, if we say feminism is way doing too much, or the women who lead in our community, let's take our principal for example. I'm not coming for our principal, but let's take her for example. When she instructed the dress code, how did all of us feel? Like we wanted to.
Me personally, I had no problem with it. I have no problem.
I was one of the ones who had no problem with it also.
But there was other people there was one person who told us about it, but we're not going to give it detail because we don't not want to expose her.
But in the beginning of the year, we found a way. A lot of people kept coming to the podcast club addressing those issues with the dress code. What I want to address about our principal, she's a powerhouse when she makes rules and she stands by them.
And when we're saying this, we're saying it in a positive way, not in a negative way.
Right. That's another thing I want to touch on.
We're also going to say it in a bias. We're going to be biased towards it.
Right. So she's one of the ones who believed in student voice and let this club still be a thing. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate her for that. But at the same time, everybody in our community has a job to do, whether they're male or female, whether they're man, transgender, either way, they're still who they are, and you still have to respect them for who they are because pronouns and everything else go along with being who you are in our community. We look at you as a human being, but we want you to know we fully respect you. Yeah.
Back to Women's History Month for a bit. So obviously we haven't talked about the heroes. So the heroes that we are mentioning for Women's History Month is Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks.
You're the researcher. I'm gonna let you throw them out there.
Throw them out there.
Sorry. Rosa Parks and Billie Holiday. She's one of the powerful. She's one of the women who stand up to the United States. There's. What was her name? What was her name? We lost with a plane. What was her? Amelia Earhart. Yeah, Amelia Earhart. A famous woman pilot. And some women who changed lives. Like in this era, like you have Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris. She's the first female president.
First African American vice president. There we go.
Sorry, we didn't do that too much research on this month. We apologize.
We did our research, but
didn't back it up.
We backed it up as well, but with these women, we didn't make a list. That's what it was. We didn't make the list on it. So it may sound like we just throwing it off our head, and that's what it is. But anyway, we want y'all to know that we're switching back over to the mental health topic. Joe, you want to sit down for this one?
I already am.
So what we want to touch on is everybody's mental health and
So we've been saying this a bunch of times.
You've heard the word mental health a lot of times during this episode, but we really appreciate y'all for sticking with us.
Yeah, so even that we're being repetitive, and what we're saying, like we're being a lot repetitive, a lot.
We sound like a run-on sentence.
Like railroad. So but we really mean what we're saying. We really mean what we're saying about our mental health, things to like cope with it, how to deal with it with someone or by yourself with what to do. And like it gives you about more mental health illness problems and illnesses like even though someone who has bipolar disorder, dementia, schizophrenia, and other types of diseases that have to do with mental health. Like we're gonna help try to. You have to know like how to deal with it. I don't know how to say it. You know how to say it. So we want to give you the information on how to like cope with it, give us details about it. So
I want to Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to say something. I want to touch on something that Nyla said last episode. Her mental health is morally focused on school, and that's the reason it's being caused. But I also want to follow up with not what Nyla is saying. She said that school was leading up to her having these panic attacks, anxiety episodes, anything else that follows mental health. But I also want to let you know that you have these counselors who get paid to do what they're supposed to do, which meaning making sure your education is first priority in your life. If you're having these episodes every 5 minutes and you can barely concentrate, that's what they're here for, to help you. You have these guidance counselors. You have these
school psychiatrists.
Psychiatrists. Where can I find them? You know where I can find them?
That's a great question. So,
Counselor suite.
in our school, our counselors are located in our counselor suite, along with Miss Julie, who's a
psychiatrist.
I forget her title. Is it
Yes, it is psychiatrist.
You heard it.
Psychiatrist.
Okay, great. She's a psychiatrist, so you can go up to her. That's only for students who go to Dr. L.G. Pinkston Senior High School. But at the same time, you can always find help on your local best friend, which is Google, which most of us use to find our school answers, but we ain't going to tell the teachers that.
Please don't.
I'm pretty sure teachers in college did their research through Google, too. We calling it our research.
And books.
But we're calling our best friend that gives us the main answers Google.
Welcome, Steve Jobs.
Did you want to add something?
Not really. I think we said what we needed to say. Oh wait. So also, I want to say something. So this is gonna be a podcast exclusive. Before we start releasing the episodes last year, we did recordings on mental health with Coach Thatcher and our school nurse.
Oh yeah.
So
Should have done that.
With our original members which our original members were our original members were Melanie, Jalen, Eric, Ren, and Nyla, me included. So you might hear them in the episode because we are the OGs.
Please, here's a PSA for anyone who's willing to come for the Pinkston Said That podcast. Please know that the podcast president will stand 10 toes behind his creation. Okay. Number one, these recordings. Please. Ignore that, but at the same time, take a hold to it. So, number one, these recordings were from last year. Mm-hmm. 2, we were still learning how to do audio and equipment adjustment. So, please bear with us as these audios may sound tricky and crazy, but I'm going to pass it to
really
Joey.
Loud because we were moving the phone a lot when we tried to interview. So just keep in mind that this was the first recording that we ever did. The first time we ever had guests.
Oh yeah, it was. I gotta say congratulations to all my team members who did that.
And it was the first time we had all the members there. Ren, Nyla.
It was the first time we did interviews. Let's just acknowledge that. So a lot of people didn't know how to have interview. What is the word? Manners. Interview manners and positivity inside of it. So. For those who still listen to the Pinkston podcast and you are a Pinkston podcast member, I really do appreciate you for sticking with me with those interviews. At the same time, for my listeners, I really do appreciate for our listeners. Sorry, I'm so used to Batman's Batcave. But anyway,
promotion is crazy.
Promotion is so crazy, bro.
So I really do appreciate the members and the listeners, especially the listeners, because you keep us going. You let us know what we can change, what we can fix. Big shout out to Outcast. I'm really finna pronounce his name wrong.
Please don't.
So I just really do appreciate you and all the other Pinkston at their listeners. What you should know, we have video coming out real shortly, but I wasn't supposed to say nothing.
Too late. He already revealed it.
With that being said, Joey, do you have anything else to add?
Again, I didn't really say what we have to say. Oh, the one thing I want to talk about is that after this recording, we will start the anniversary episode because this podcast is gonna turn a year old.
Oh no!
So what is you're gonna expect from us in our next episode? Talk about why we joined the club, and like what we experienced.
You're going to hear our journey
Oh, this is gonna
with
be,
this podcast club. You're going to hear a lot of bloopers.
Our origins.
it's gonna be so funny.
Bloopers. What else can I hear from this episode? Bloopers.
Our origins.
Origins is crazy because you're going to hear voices that you haven't heard in a while.
We especially need to hear some Christian bloopers, the way you've messed up over the years.
So you.
Shh, they not supposed to know that. I'm supposed to be the president. No, just
Now and then.
now and then, I want to pass some advice out while we're telling you about this anniversary episode. Anything that God has put on your mind, and anything. Oh, I don't know if our reviewers believe in Christianity, but anything God puts on your heart, no man, no woman can destroy anything that God has built. At the same time, anything that is meant for greatness will take time.
Same thing for many other religions too.
Yeah, same thing for many other religions. I really got to appreciate the Pinkston Podcast Club because they keep me on my toes, letting me know what I say and what I don't say. But anyway, yeah, we'll see you on the next segment of Pinkston Said That. Mental Health is a Thing episode.
AKA Christina / Tina. And
Without the Aguilera
Just know you
or Turner.
Just know it's always added with Aguilar and Turner.
Anyways, Joey, what do you got to say more about mental health than you already did?
That we already continuing. So mental health is something that I'm personally not experiencing right now, or maybe I am, and I just don't realize it. There has been some times there has been some times that I've been feeling sad, like out of nowhere. I was waking up looking sad.
Depression.
Dang it! Where was that Vine Boom sound? I had a plan. But anyway, yeah, it could be depression, a bit of depression, but not really. So there'd be something I'd be like feel sad. People say I look sad, but no, I'm not sad. This is how I always look. If you see me in real life, you know. You might think I look sad. You know. I just look like this.
If you know, you know. And Christian without the Aguilera.
Or Tina.
How do you feel about your mental health?
Better yet, I'm not coming for Tina Turner, but of course it's without the Tina Turner because I don't get beat on.
Anyway.
See? No, my mental health is horrible. I have tests, and I have stress, and I have anxiety, and I have depression. All of those things are mental health.
You're not a rapper. Wow. You made that rap. You was not a rapper. But anyway, so we all know what mental health is, right? We're all experiencing a different pace. Sometimes they're more serious than other people. Helping. So the best way to when people say you have danger, when people we hear that your mental health is real, it's bad, it might seem bad. I'm pretty sure it can be worse than mental health institutions, right?
My mental health is, rocky. We're gonna say that, rocky. Some days I'm feeling, the happiest girl ever, thanks to my BL. And then other times I'm feeling like just a whole lot of things. If you got cuss words, then yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now. But it's just like rocky. My mental health isn't stable, but it's stable at the same time. People pleaser here. If y'all ever need some reliance, I'm here to help you. But I'm gonna keep it straight up with y'all. So yeah, that's my mental health. Christians, he's a little crazy.
Just know it's horrible.
It's horrible, as he says, but he's crazy.
He's like the crazy girlfriend in every movie and show.
Yeah, because I'll bust the windows out your car.
He said, I'll bust the windows out your car.
Play with me and find out. Or how they say it?
Mess around and find out.
That too, but it's the Christian saying. I love Jesus, but I'll go to jail behind you.
Amen. And that's one for our president.
Not mess with friends' mental health.
But we're gonna wrap this up a little bit.
Because we're gonna go to a segment. So we're gonna talk about Women's History Month later on. I know I said this before, but we'll get later on to it. So we'll see. So we'll see you guys in the next recording.
About the old recordings.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
We do it on Women's Appreciation, because It's time.
It's almost